Zurkhaneh, literally House of Strength, might look like a traditional gym today, but its roots are far more ancient. Over 2,000 years ago, in the heart of ancient Persia, it began as a warrior tradition where physical training was combined with moral discipline and spiritual growth. Pahlevani, or Persian yoga, which is practiced in the House of Strength, is the oldest continuous athletic tradition in the world, and it's still practiced today. But this isn't just a story about an ancient practice. It's also a story of a man, and how he showed the world, no matter how much strength you have physically, you must use it to fight and defeat your inner ego. This is the journey of Mahmud Khwarazmi, better known as Pourya-ye Vali. A master of strength, a teacher of character, and a guardian of the House of Strength. Pourya was born around 1255 CE. His real name was Mahmud Khwarazmi, but historians still debate exactly where he came from. Some say it was Old Urgench in the heart of Khwarazm, modern-day Uzbekistan. Others argue it was Ganja in present-day Azerbaijan. And then there is a later Safavid-era scroll that claims he came from Khoy, or Salmas, in northwestern Iran. His family is said to have migrated from Urgench to Khiva. His life was shaped by the world of Mongol-ruled Persia and by the ancient Persian ideal of Javanmardi, sportsmanship. A code with teachings of bravery, humility, and helping the less fortunate. As a child, Pourya pursued Pahlevani wrestling, or Persian yoga, a sacred martial art that combined physical strength and moral discipline. In his youth, Pourya would visit the House of Strength and quietly watch from above the wrestlers who trained below. The space echoed with the chants of the Morshed, the leader who sang mystical poetry. Pourya traveled widely across Central Asia, Persia, and even India, wrestling local champions wherever he went. His travels exposed him to diverse cultures, languages, and spiritual teachers. And perhaps that's why he turned increasingly towards Sufism, a mystical branch of Islam that focuses on inner purification, spiritual discipline, and closeness to God. He likely spent time in Sufi lodges to understand the essence of it. This path, from wrestler to wanderer, from champion to mystic, earned him the title Vali, meaning saint or guardian friend of God. But Pourya wasn't just a fighter. By day, he was a humble leather craftsman making sheepskin coats and hats to earn a modest living. And by nightfall, he would retreat into quiet reflection, immersing himself in poetry and mystical texts. And that's how Pourya-ye Vali became a philosopher wrestler known for both strength and compassion. In an age when wrestling champions were seen as folk heroes, Pourya rose to the top of the sport. He defeated challenger after challenger and became a legendary figure across Persia, Central Asia, and India. From Delhi to Samarkand, the name Pourya became synonymous with invincible and honor. Despite his victories, he always remained humble because his guiding principle was closely connected to sportsmanship, the Persian code of chivalry, meaning he upheld fairness, helped the weak, and respected his opponents. One of the most famous legends about him also shows exactly that. A young Indian wrestler once came to challenge Pourya. The night before the match, Pourya overheard the young man's mother praying, asking God to help her son win so that he could win prize money to feed his struggling family. Hearing this, Pourya made a decision. He allowed himself to be defeated, letting the young wrestler throw him. The crowd was shocked, and according to legend, as his back touched the ground, Pourya-ye Vali attained some kind of spiritual epiphany The legend says, he lost the match, but won God's favor. But wrestling was only one part of his life. Even at the height of his athletic success, Pourya-ye Vali embraced a deeper path. As a Sufi teacher and poet, he mentored students in spiritual practices, a common tradition across Central Asia at the time. In the Zoorkhaneh, the athletes moved to the beat of a drum, while poetry echoed through the hall. And Pourya-ye Vali didn't just follow the tradition, he shaped it. For example, one of his couplets that's still recited in the House of Strength today says, "Learn modesty if you desire knowledge, for a highland will never be irrigated." Meaning, just like rain flows to the lowlands and not the peaks, knowledge and wisdom come to those who are humble, not full of themselves. That's the kind of mindset he tried to teach. Strength without ego. And that's why even today, he's not just remembered as a wrestler, but as a teacher of values. He slowly became a revered poet. His most famous work is a narrative poem called The Treasure of Truths, written around 1303 CE. It's over 1,300 couplets long, with themes like faith, fighting the ego, charity, love, and spiritual stories in it. His values are best reflected in stories. A medieval scroll recounts 12 principles of chivalry that he followed. These included respecting one's elders and teachers, truthfulness, avoiding profanity, never skipping prayers, and loving and respecting himself and all people. And that's why he is remembered as both a hero and a wise leader, often called a living saint in Zurkhaneh folklore. The story of the Zoorkhaneh itself goes back more than 2,000 years to ancient Persia. Pahlevani, or Persian yoga, is traditionally practiced in the Zurkhaneh, the House of Strength. It is regarded as the world's oldest living martial arts strength conditioning training. Before the arrival of Islam in Persia, the Zurkhaneh was influenced by Zoroastrian belief. Later, it was also shaped by Persian literature and mythology, especially the heroic stories written by Persian poets like Ferdowsi. Most Zoorkhanehs are built with a dome and a single opening at the top, similar to ancient fire temples from before the Islamic era. This design makes athletes look inwards and upwards, symbolizing a connection between the human heart and a higher power. The entrance is low and narrow, so everyone has to bow as they walk in. This act comes from Zoroastrian traditions, showing respect to the sacred fire and reminding people to leave their ego behind before entering a spiritual space. Many Zoorkhaneh sessions start at dawn, a time that Zoroastrians saw as sacred. Dawn was linked to Mithra, the ancient god of light, truth, and justice. They believed light was holy and that the battle between good and evil began anew each morning. The training starts with a bow to the Morshed, the guide or master, and a prayer or call to a higher power. The Morshed plays a drum and recites poetry or religious verses, often from Ferdowsi, Rumi, or Islamic texts, to set the pace. The athletes move together in rhythm, swinging wooden clubs, doing push-ups, and spinning in circles. Their movements are like the Sufi dervishes, who spin as a form of spiritual devotion, an influence that came from Islamic traditions. From the beginning, the Zoorkhaneh welcomed men from all backgrounds: nobles, workers, merchants, and farmers trained side by side. What mattered wasn't wealth or status, but character and commitment to the Pahlevani code of ethics. As one saying goes, a true champion is not just the one who wins bouts, but one who wins hearts through virtue. And perhaps Pourya has maintained this throughout his life. At its heart, The Zurkhaneh tradition teaches that real strength comes from humility and self-control. The first thing any new athlete learns is to be humble. Bow when you enter, respect your elders, and never brag about your strength. Because in this tradition, beating your ego is seen as the greatest victory. In Zoorkhaneh, Morshed would sometimes test athletes by teasing them in songs or letting a junior lead a senior, just to see if they could keep their cool. The goal was to shape men who were strong enough to be gentle. One saying captures it well: the only fight that truly matters is the fight against your lower self. Physical opponents come and go, but pride, anger, and selfishness must be faced every day. Athletes are taught that their strength is a gift from God and should be used to help others. That spirit still lives on. Even during training, teamwork and respect matter more than competition. When wrestlers practice, it's not a fight to hurt each other. It's a friendly test of skill and character. Winners are expected to help up their opponents. Losers are expected to show grace. Showing off and being aggressive are discouraged. All of these teachings, humility, self-control, generosity, are meant to lead to something deeper than inner freedom. The belief is that by training your body and mastering your ego, you also free your mind and soul. A true Pahlevan doesn't need to prove himself. He is free from jealousy, anger, and fear. As Pourya put it, strength without humility is like a flame without heat. It may shine, but it will never warm. By the end of his life, Pourya-ye Vali wasn't just known for his strength. He had become a respected spiritual figure, a living legend. Most sources say he spent his final years in Khiva, which is now in Uzbekistan, and died there in 1322 CE. But some believe he passed away in Khoi, Iran. It's possible there was confusion. Maybe both cities wanted to be part of his legacy. In Khiva, his tomb became a sacred place. Today, it's called the Pahlevan Mahmud. People visit it to pay respects. Newlyweds come for blessings. Some even drink from a nearby well, believing it gives strength and healing. At the same time, in Khoi, people gather every Thursday night at what they believe is his grave. They light candles, read poetry, say prayers, and ask for blessings. Step into any house of strength in Iran, and you'll hear his name long before you see his image. Coaches talk about him as a role model. His literary works are also the reason why people respect him. Beyond the treasure of truths, a rare manuscript of his quatrains was rediscovered in Uzbekistan and published in 1962. Scholars found his poetry thoughtful and deeply philosophical in tone. His true legacy lives on, not just in buildings or books, but in the traditions of the Zurkhaneh, in the values it teaches, and the people who still look up to him today. If you found Pourya-ye Vali's story inspiring, don't forget to subscribe. We release a new in-depth documentary every month, exploring untold stories and the people who shaped them. In 2010, UNESCO officially recognized the Pahlevani and Zoorkhaneh rituals as part of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Across Iran, more than 500 Zoorkhanehs are still active. In June 2024, Zoorkhaneh even reached the global stage when Isfahan hosted the first ever Zoorkhaneh Sports World Cup. It brought together 130 athletes from 21 countries, including Tajikistan, India, Syria, and Lithuania, showing that this ancient tradition is starting to spread beyond Iran's borders. Beyond the Middle East, Pourya-ye Vali's legacy lives on in unexpected corners of the world. From Toronto and Berlin to Los Angeles and Paris, where communities and cultural centers keep his memory alive. We'll end with the words of Pourya-ye Vali himself, a simple yet powerful reminder that true freedom begins within. O heart, why chase the world's silver and gold? In the end, even your shroud is not guaranteed. Free yourself from greed, from fear, from pride, and walk humbly, for that is the path to truth.